They are back. The fans are back. Back for Le Mans, back for Le Mans 2022. After 2 years of the global pandemic, finally it is time to start the party in the centre of town with a traditional drivers' parade after qualifying in the lead up to the world's greatest endurance motor race. And at the Circuit de la Sarthe, the place looks busy once more. Motor racing has come home. For the drivers on the biggest grid ever assembled here, the crowd is absolutely essential. It is part of the spirit of Le Mans, and the fans and the drivers and the teams are responding to each other in kind. On the grid, 62 cars ready to take on the biggest challenge in motorsport.
Enjoy.
YouTube. Well, ja, it's bra va? Ja.
Dropping in with the French national flag, bringing a little bit more razzmatazz to the pre-race ceremony. Friends old and new, family young and old. Familiar faces and 50 rookie drivers taking on this great race. Multiple champions of different disciplines. And a touch of humanity as well. From Hollywood to just around the corner. Everybody is ready to get the race underway.
Yeah, and you be careful with it. Yeah.
In the GTE AM class, winning the shootout in Super Pole, the 61 AF Corsa Ferrari. Ferrari had the pace in qualifying. Would they have it in the race? In the GTE Pro class, Ferrari were tailing at the back of the field. It was Corvette who qualified on pole, a 1-2 result for the American team back again. Pole position in LMP2 went to last year's winners, WRT, but it was a mammoth field of cars. Would they triumph? And the team who won the first ever race at Le Mans in the new Hypercar era, Toyota Gazoo Racing, not only took pole position for the race, but they locked out the front row. Not before a stiff challenge from Alpine had been defeated at the last moment. Clock ticking down to 4 o'clock, the traditional start time for the Le Mans 24 hours. The starting colours were dropped in by the French army. Grandstands continued to fill as the grid began to empty. With the ceremonies and the colour over, it was time to get serious. Patrouille de France with their traditional fly past, bringing yet more colour and ceremony. And finally, it was time for the cars to roll off.
We have started the formation lap for the 90th edition of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. GT cars, the gap is too big. GT cars, the gap is too big.
Toyota's Sebastian Buemi pacing the field from teammate Mike Conway. 24 hours on the clock. The tricolor waves. And Le Mans 2022 is underway. The Alpine trying to squeeze between the Glickenhauses, but being shut out in 5th position as Toyota dominate the start and drama behind. Somebody off in the gravel trap at the very first corner. One of the Glickenhauses goes straight through the chicane. Le Mans has started with a bang. Toyota 1-2, Glickenhaus side by side with Alpine for company, but one of the LMP2 cars sneaking around, and its previous winner, 22 from United Autosports. Here's the replay, contact with last year's winner, WRT, and their race is effectively over within 200 metres of the start. Fired off into the gravel, and that is not how you wish to start Le Mans. With the 92 Porsche, slow car on the right-hand side, another LMP2 contender has not got away quickly. So 25 have survived the run to the first turn, 2 halt and lame. Looking back from the leader. Down the Mulsanne straight, Toyota 1-2, Glickenhaus 3-4. 5th place though, Robert Kubica for Prema. Their first ever Le Mans start, and the pole has taken that car from 9th on the grid to 5th position ahead of the blue Alpine, a hyperclass contender. WRT, the previous year's winner, had contact with the number 22 United car and is second in LMP2. Jota's 38 car giving chase, and in the GTE Pro field, Corvette 1-2, Porsche 3-4, and then 3 Ferraris. 2 from AF Corso, 1 from the American team, Riley Motorsport. Ferrari outpaced in qualifying, and in the searing heat of race day, it looks as though they may be struggling. Nico Lapierre in the blue Alpine, trying to pull out and pass Robert Kubica. But look at the speed of the LMP2 car. The Alpine struggling to get by, even in a straight line. This time he is through and back up to 5th position, but that blue car started in 3rd. It's not been a great start for the French team. Into the pit lane, Will Owen for United Autosports in the number 22 car. Their lowest graded driver. Maybe it was one risk too many to put him in at the start. Battle for 5th position in LMP2. Car number 1, Richard Mille Racing Team. Behind Alex Lynn, the United Autosports number 23 car. Their strongest car in terms of points at United goes by Charles Milesi to take the top 5 position down into the Indianapolis curve. At the lead of GTE AM, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 Porsches. Here is Matteo Cairoli with the white nose, diving to the inside of Harry Tincknell to take the lead of the class. Tincknell now down to 3rd place in GTE AM, and he's under pressure from behind again. Into the pit lane, the number 31 WRT car.
1 minute stop-and-go penalty on car 31, 3-1 for causing a collision at T1 at the start of the race.
That is going to be a hefty penalty for WRT, but they have ruined the number 22 United Cars race, so they will have to serve their time.
Well, you know, at the start there was a lot of confusion. Difficult to say what happened exactly. There was a contact. Yeah, I think René did not do anything wrong, but yeah, at the end we have to accept the decision of the steward. Let's see, the race is going to be long.
As at the first round of stops, number 8 Toyota stopping a lap after the number 7 car, but it wasn't quick in the pit lane. Number 7 is coming up fast from behind on hot tyres. As Sebastian Buemi leaves the pit lane, here comes his teammate Mike Conway to sweep around the outside. Lead change. Car number 7, the world champions, last year's winners, have the lead of Le Mans. In the GTE Pro field, they are struggling for grip, all of the manufacturers. Corvette in the pit lane, Nick Tandy stays in the car. Driver change here though, Jimmy Bruni runs round to take over from Fred Makovici. They're trying to keep their drivers fresh early in the race in these very hot conditions. Much warmer than any of the testing days or in qualifying. Mike Conway pulling away at the front of the race in the number 7 Toyota. The number 8 car is struggling to keep pace. After the change in the pit stops, Conway is easing away from Sebastian Buemi. Number 8 car seems to have some problems.
I'm sorry, nothing is going my way. Plus, I'm scared of the track limit, taking extra margin. With the oversteer is not in it. Sorry.
Copy, yeah, it's a long race, long race.
.709 in the garage at Glickenhaus, working on the front of the car and at the rear. Looks like they're trying to sort out balance problems as well. Franck Mayer starting the car and waiting patiently for the work to conclude. Driver change at Alpine. Starting driver Nico Lapierre out. Mathieu Vassivière into the French machine. Despite the searing conditions at Le Mans, the pace is frantic. In the lead now, after 7 has stopped, is Toyota number 8. Driver change, Sebastian Buemi handing over to teammate Brendan Hartley. Buemi chasing a 4th race victory here at Le Mans. Hartley looking for a 3rd. Their teammate Ryo Hirakawa looking for his first ever victory in what is his first race with a major team. The tiny Glickenhaus operation, dreamed up by American entrepreneur Jim Glickenhaus, still in there swinging between the 2 Toyotas as they make their driver change. Battle for second place in GTE Pro, and Porsche now starting to get in amongst their rivals. Jimmy Bruni in the 91 car ahead of Tommy Milner in Corvette number 64, but the 63 car still out front. This GTE Pro field is so close that positions change every lap and with every pit stop. Michael Christensen getting himself back in front of the Ferrari of Antonio Fuoco. Corvette still with a slight edge, and Ferrari still trying to find an answer to the pace of their rivals. Michael Christensen right behind his teammate in the 91 Porsche. And Jimmy Bruni leaves the door open and Christensen comes past. Looks like the team are sending the slightly quicker car in front. They may well have split setup changes in the heat of the day. And it looks as though whatever they've done to 92 is working better. Replay from the rear-mounted camera of the Porsche, and this will have been the view pretty much for Jimmy Bruni as well. Michael Christensen sweeping by, plenty of room to do it. Pit stop for the 52 Ferrari, driver change, and the same likely to happen here at the 64 Corvette. Driver stays in, however. Looks like they are relatively happy with cockpit temperatures. Double stinting in this weather is very physical work indeed for GT drivers and for prototype drivers. The closed cockpits make it very claustrophobic. The Corvette looking strong in France. Into the 2022 Le Mans 24 Hours, and look at the rate of approach of Richard Westbrook right up behind the Alpine. Mathieu Vaxivière made a mistake coming onto the straight, just lost that momentum, and Westbrook sweeps by in the Glickenhaus up to 4th place. Wow, aviating Mathieu Vaxivière. Keep the car on the grey stuff, son. That's what it's there for. Trouble in the pit lane. This is Project One's 46 Porsche. Nicky Leutweiler coming in with a puncture. Struggled to get the car turned in the pit lane. Now, though, he seems to be safely in. And this is where it all went wrong. The Porsche across the gravel traps at Indianapolis, carrying a fraction too much speed. Remedial work required. Pushed back immediately into the garage by Team Project One, where everybody can descend on the car to fix it. Side by side for 5th place in LMP2. Louis Delatraz down the inside for Prema. Moves up ahead of the number 65 Panis Racing car. His sights set on Ed Jones in the green Jota number 28 right in front. Delatraz on a big run at the moment for Prema. Side by side, an LMP2 battle right by the battle for 2nd in GT Pro. Richard Leach inside Michael Christensen. Well, he waved Christensen by earlier on when the 92 car was faster. Looks like he has now got more pace than his teammate and has moved back up into what is 2nd position after a slight delay for the 64 Corvette. GT Pro leader on the pit road. Jordan Taylor out, Nicky Katzberg taking over the 63 Corvette. It's a real multinational lineup in that car. And look at this, 3 wide coming down into the chicane. The leader in amongst this massive battle with his teammate right behind. The 2 Toyotas, number 8, number 7, in a gaggle of LMP2 cars, and even the hypercars are struggling to get by these P2 machines. Problem starting the number 36 car, Alpine, losing time in the pits. It keeps stalling. Mathieu Vaxivière shakes his head. Well, it looks as though he's got a problem with the clutch. It's not a normal foot clutch pedal, it's a little lever on the steering. The team wheeled the car immediately into the garage, but vital time being lost by Alpine. This is an absolute disaster for the French team. Quick fix for Alpine, back out onto the pit apron. Car fires up and away he goes. But that is going to be a worry.
It's been a nightmare since the beginning of the race. Well, Yeah, I don't know. We have all the problems. We had a clutch issue, engine issue. We had troubles in traffic as well. We've been hit by a car, so it's not easy. The pace is not great as well. We are lacking top speed. We are a bit short on fuel, so altogether it's going to be a long race, but we have to finish it. We are still leader of the World Championship until tomorrow, 4 o'clock, so we're going to fight and try to score as many points as possible.
Just after the 4-hour mark, shadows starting to lengthen here in central France, and the battle for second place in LMP2 is well alight. The Glickenhaus going by the green Team WRT machine and the yellow and blue Team Penske car right behind. This may well be Penske's last race of the season with an LMP2 car. They are preparing to bring Porsche back to the Hypercar class starting in 2023 and learning as much as they can about Le Mans in the meanwhile. Felipe Nasr down the inside. Great move from the Brazilian, who has spent so much time recently racing in the States. And a very decisive move down into the second chicane to take second spot. Team are loving it. Glickenhaus in the early evening making a routine stop with driver change. Out gets Romain Dumas, and into the seat slides Pipo Derani. Glickenhaus in third, also on the pit road, the second place car. This number 7 Toyota, Jose Maria Lopez, handing over to Kamui Kobayashi, the team principal and the third driver of that car. Evening is fast approaching, but there is no let-up in the pace in GT Pro. Alexander Sims for Corvette down the inside of Lawrence Van Toor in the 92 Porsche. Grabs second place back. Fantastic racing. 7 cars in the class, and each of them racing hammer and tongs with the others. Heading towards night time, nearly at the 5-hour mark. Leader in the pits, number 8 Toyota, just takes fuel and back into the battle. Lead change again between the 2 Toyotas, on board with the number 8 car. Right in front is car number 7. This is Ryo Hirakawa chasing the team boss, Kamui Kobayashi. Hirakawa new to the team this year, after Kazuki Nakajima retired from full-time racing at the end of 2021. And Toyota nose to tail in the low evening sunshine. The long night is yet to begin. Visibility is already starting to become a premium requisite for these drivers. As they turn right at Mulsanne, they'll be driving straight into the sun. Andre Negrão in GT traffic down to Mulsanne corner. Oh, overcommitted, in too shallow, too fast. He's in the gravel. This is another blow for the 36 Alpine. Negrão struggling back. Looks like he's got a fairly major problem. Toyota sweep by and put them yet another lap back.
All okay, André? All okay? No vibration? No noise?
No. Okay.
Well, Andre Negrão has scared himself and definitely worried the team. Rolf van Eiken in the green WRT machine right behind Lorenzo Colombo. This is now a battle for 4th place. These 2 cars have already spent a lot of time in company with the previous drivers. Lorenzo Colombo, the young Italian, a super silver, really make a name for himself, but squirrels through the chicane there. He could see the Glickenhaus coming, just wanted to make sure he was out of the way. He may possibly have overdone it a little. Take a look here as he cuts through the inside of the chicane. Here's the battle for 4th in LMP2. Ricky Taylor for Cool Racing, the dark car, attacking Felipe Nasr. These 2 race against each other in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Series in the States. Ricky Taylor goes through for Cool Racing from 12th on the grid in LMP2 up to 4th place in class now. The sun is fast setting at Le Mans, And into the signature hours on this track. Jumping the chicane, that's not good news for the Toyota. Yes, you need to get by traffic. No, you don't want to lose much time. But you do not want to go bouncing over the chicane. Those big sausage curbs do a lot of damage to cars if you hit them wrong. Nighttime approaching at Le Mans. This is the witching hour. Cars going quickly, but also in the nighttime, strange things happen. 64 Corvette in the pit lane. And this has all the hallmarks of a major brake service. On board number 8 Toyota. Night sky on one side and the setting sun on the other. Kamui Kobayashi just ahead of Ryo Hirakawa. Hirakawa closing down the leader, just half a second by, waiting to pounce. Clickenhouse number 708 in the pit lane. Wash and brush up, driver change, full service here for the better placed of the two American machines. And Toyota also changing drivers. Mike Conway taking over the number 7 machine. Change of lead again. Number 8 Toyota once more back in front, and the number 7 car held up by a slower GTE Am Ferrari coming out in front of it. And that will give race leader Ryo Hirakawa a little bit more breathing space.
Rio, it's a long race. It's a long race. Let's stay calm. Car is good. It's a long race.
Oh, somebody sparking. 52 Ferrari of Miguel Molina. Is that a puncture? Has he lost a wheel? It's down on the right-hand front. Replay here at Indianapolis. It does look like a puncture. Lots of smoke. Let's hope that's all it is. In the pits, not much left of that wheel rim. They're pulling out debris from the wheel arch. Let's hope it hasn't damaged the brakes or suspension. New tyre goes on. And away he goes. Well, they're fairly confident the car is okay. Race leader in LMP2, one blue light on the side of the 38 Jota car. And this car has been in control since late in the afternoon ahead of Prema and the sister Jota car, TDS by Vaillant, coming from a major rebuild after a big crash in qualifying up to 4th place. Porsche 1-2, Ferrari in 3rd. Now the Corvettes are sinking down the order. Left rear puncture for the 63 car. This could be trouble. This is down at Mulsanne corner. The tyres already flat by that stage. Antonio Garcia back in the garage. Is it a puncture? Is there more damage at the rear? Looks like this could be a major setback. Lights in the middle of nowhere. Michael Fassbender for Proton Competition. Well, the Irish-born actor had a big crash in practice. The team rebuilt the car around a new shell. Where is he here? Down into Indianapolis, carrying in a lot of speed. No fault of his own. He was hit by an LMP2 car, knocked off on the gravel in the inside, hits the tyre wall. He is certainly finding out about Le Mans the hard way. This looks like it was the offending Am Ferrari that hit Fassbender, the pole-sitting APM Monaco car, and Fassbender in the pit lane as well. Fellow Hollywood star and former Le Mans racer Patrick Dempsey running that car. Glickenhaus in trouble. Olivier Plat from 3rd place in the race, facing the wrong way onto the Mulsanne straight. That's Tertre Rouge. Replay here. Oh, clips the curb over the brow at Shimano-Boeuf and just about misses the barrier. That was a lucky escape from a fairly sizable moment. But now he's facing the wrong way into oncoming traffic in the dark. Back in the pits, 7:08. From 4th place, this Glickenhaus, and it will be wheeled back in the garage for some remedial work. It looks like this may be a long stop for the Glickenhaus, dropping away from the leaders. Toyota number 7 chasing the number 8 car. This is another tight battle for the lead. In the darkness down the Mulsanne straight, a glare of headlights. Somebody's pulling out from behind. That's the number 7 car going by for the lead. Yes, it is, down into the first chicane. And it looks as though that may have been planned by the team. That was rather easy. Whoosh, number 7 straight by. Nearly halfway through the Le Mans 24 Hours. Great battle here for 3rd place. That's Julien Canal retaking 3rd from Felipe Nasr in the Team Penske car under braking. Nasr had just gone by him. And look at this, side by side, racing down towards Indianapolis. The poor GT car in front will just have a sea of lights in his mirrors. On board again with Nasr. He's got the inside line. Canal is not going to fight it there. Choose your battles. Midway point at Le Mans 24 Hours. Middle of the night, Toyota 1-2 from Glickenhaus. LMP2 leader Jota up to 4th place overall in a massive and tightly contested field, with ARC Bratislava leading the Pro-Am standings in LMP2. In GTE, Corvette's challenge is fading. They're on the ropes. It is Porsche who lead from the 64 Corvette, and the 51 Ferrari is up to 3rd. In GTE Am, Porsche's early hot track dominance has been eroded by the cooling temperatures, and Aston Martin is right back in it. And 60 of our 62 starters are still in the race. Big lock-up for the 92 Porsche of Michael Christensen, battling with the 51 Ferrari for 2nd in GTE Pro in the gravel at Mulsanne corner. Woo, just misses the back of his rival. He only had remedial work on the brakes about half an hour ago on the previous stop. Early morning sunshine, the number 38 Jota car led at tea time, led through the night, leads at breakfast time. Is this going to be a big race for Jota? They are 1st and 2nd with Prema sandwiched in between them. Number 8 Toyota in for service. Sebastian Buemi stays in. They clean the lights, the windscreen, the number panel, the mirrors. They change his drinks bottle and fill the car with fuel. And some of the fans look like they could use a full service too. 77 car for Dempsey Proton in the thick of the action in GTE Am, being shared by team boss Christian Reed with Harry Tincknell and Sebastian Priaulx. But fellow team boss Patrick Dempsey watching from the sidelines. He's raced here, of course, and he is back to oversee the cars.
I just love being around everybody, you know, and watching everybody work.
looking in their eyes, seeing how they're doing, and it's just such a pleasure to be a part of it. And to be this close as a fan and a competitor, you don't really get a chance as a driver to watch the work that's going on with the crews. The dedication, the focus, the professionalism, and the camaraderie. I mean, that's the beauty of it.
Here's our LMP2 leader, Mighty 38 Joe Roberto Gonzalez didn't drive during the night. Now he's got a lot of time to spend behind the wheel. Squeezes by the CD Sport car. He's got nearly half a lap on Prema in second place. Needs to keep his pace up if they're going to win this race. Looks like the CD Sport car has recovered its composure, though, in the Porsche curves. Oh, trouble for the 92 Porsche. That's Michael Christensen. The tyre flailing away at the front of the car. It's a right front blowout. Now, is that a lock-up that has caused the tyre to delaminate? The tread is flailing around like some medieval weapon, ripping the car to pieces. A big lock-up. Another one down at Mulsanne corner for Christensen. And was that cause or effect?
Copy. So we're going to refuel and then get the car in the box so you jump out and also get in while we're in the box.
A huge amount of damage to that car. Doesn't look like he hit something. No, look at that. The tyre just rips the car to pieces. There's debris everywhere. Trouble for Toyota. This is car number 7. Lights going on and off. Jose Maria Lopez trying to recycle it and get it to start.
New error.
Stop the car and power cycle.
Well, similar problem befell the number 8 Toyota last time out in Spa-Francorchamps. They didn't finish the race. That would be a disaster for the crew of number 7. There's Mike Conway, not looking at all relaxed. Into the pit lane, Jose Maria Lopez. What are they going to do with the car? Where in Glickenhaus, Roman Dumas watching. Number 7 back on its way. Worrying moments, though, for Toyota's Pascal Vasselon and the rest of the crew. Lopez back underway, now 2, not 3 laps ahead of the third place Glickenhaus, driven by Richard Westbrook. And that gives the American team even more incentive to keep pushing on. The car is performing pretty well, considering it comes from such a small team. Westbrook looking to put this car on the overall podium with 8 hours, 1/3 of the race still to go.
What was that, mate? What was that? Why it didn't work Why it didn't work with 5 seconds, mate?
We are investigating, we're investigating. Looks like we need more time to discharge, but now should be fine.
Leaders in GT Pro on pit road together. 64 Corvette, 51 Ferrari. One of each manufacturer's cars on the podium at the moment, with the 91 Porsche in third. But they are struggling to match the pace of the front 2 cars. Driver change at Ferrari. Fuel and tyres only for Corvette, trying to extend their advantage. What can the 91 Porsche team do? Can they fight their way back into this battle and move up the order?
We made it through the night. Now the tires start to work a bit better. We still don't have the speed to follow the 2 cars in front of us. The acceleration of them changed quite a bit in the race, and now they accelerate fast out of the corners, and it seems they have more pace left for the end of the race.
GTM trouble here for Brendan Arieb. Car turning hard left, and that is down at the first chicane. Michael Fassbender's Porsche turned hard right there into the other barriers in qualifying. Has Brendan Arieb got caught out here under braking as well? Or is that a brake failure? Hard to tell from the onboard. And the driver may not know either. It looks like the end of the road, though, for the Porsche. Trouble for Alpine. Mathieu Vaxivière in the barriers. That's going into the Porsche curves. What's happened here? Is this a problem with the car that's put him off? He is a long way off. Here's the replay. Oh, it's not a car. It's the GR Racing Porsche and an LMP2 car coming down the inside. Does the Porsche move out? a little bit, but Vassivier is committed to the outside. That's a hard hit.
No, it's more than bodywork. It's more than bodywork.
It is more than bodywork. In comes the car. Another body blow for Alpine, but they are still in the hunt for points, 5th in Hypercar. GTE Pro lead battle, Alexander Sims closing right down on James Calado's Ferrari. LMP2 cars all around, and Calado dives into a gap past the Algarve Pro car. That was a good move, but he runs out wide. And here comes Alexander Sims in the Corvette. Down through the inside comes Francois Perrault, and there's contact, and a second contact, and Sims is in the barriers hard, very hard. Left front corner destroyed, that took the impact. Alessandro Pierguidi can't believe what he's seeing. Look at the front tyre on the Corvette. There's Laura Wontrop-Klauser, the boss of Corvette Racing and GM Racing, on board. And there's a contact from that 83 AF Corsa LMP2 car. Drama for Corvette. It looks like their remaining car is out. And Alexander Sims climbs out of the wreckage. That's the good news. He's okay. The car is not. It's all over for Corvette for 2022. Francois Perrault in the AF Corsa car in the pit lane. The car being pushed back into the garage.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tiny swerve with the steering wheel and with massive consequences. I mean, obviously, it's 1 minute you're fighting for a class podium. The next one, you know, you're ruining the GTE Pro Corvette run for victory. I feel absolutely horrible right now. There's, I mean, I've made mistakes, but nothing like that. So it's, yeah, it's horrible. I have no words.
WRT garage, concern here. Robin Frines facing the wrong way. Where's this? Indianapolis. What happens? Carries in too much speed over the gravel traps. Boom, into the barriers. That is a massive hit. Look how much it moved the barriers on impact. Will he be able to get the car back? Marshals are with him. He's out of the car, but the impact light has come on. He will be taken to the medical centre. They are out. Leaders in the pit lane in GTE Pro, Ferrari, Porsche, Ferrari. How this race has turned on its head since last night. Into the final 4.5 hours. And could we get a Ferrari 1-2 here? There is one healthy Porsche, the 91 car. Both Ferraris on the pit apron together. 51 leads, 52 in third. Porsche have one bullet left in the gun. What a remarkable change of events it has been. Ferrari looked so lost throughout the week, and now here they are leading the race. Alessandro Pierguidi out of the pits and straight over at the Dunlop chicane. Didn't look like he really made much of an effort to turn there. Survives going by the gravel. Race leader in the pits in GT Pro, Alessandro Pierguidi, did not take tyres at the last stop. He is back in now. Fuel going in again, standard practice, and now what? Right rear tyre being changed, just the one. Now, was that a slow puncture that caused him to run off wide, or did running off wide cause the slow puncture? Race leader in the pits in LMP2, full service and driver change. Antonio Felix da Costa and Will Stevens doing some mammoth stints in the 38 Jota car. And they are going to start to be very tired indeed. There's been a little bit of a worry, it seems, about the tyres on the car, potential delamination. And that is not going to be good news because the daytime temperatures are only going to continue to increase. And there is Felix da Costa. Goodness me, he does look exhausted, doesn't he? He and Will Stevens were doing triples and quadruple stints. That's some pretty Superman driving from the pair. Into the closing stages of the 2022 Le Mans 24 Hours. Just over an hour and 45 minutes remain. Maybe another 3, possibly 4 fuel stops for Toyota Gazoo Racing. The race leader, Sebastian Buemi, hands over to Brendan Hartley. Will he go all the way through to the checkered flag? Grandstands and spectator banks are packed now as we head towards the final stages of Le Mans 2022. Last stop for the 91 Porsche GT team that leads here. Ferrari in second and third. But if Le Mans teaches us anything, nothing is yet guaranteed. Jota, first and third. Will Stevens and Oliver Rasmussen with Prema, the new boys, in their first race on the podium. And TDS by Vaillant, fourth place. What a race they have had. Look at the top speeds here, 342 kilometres now, 330 for the LMP2 cars compared to their Hypercar rivals. And in GTE Pro and Am, barely anything between them. What a race this has been for Glickenhaus. Last year, Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus arrived at Le Mans for the very first time. There's team owner Jim Glickenhaus. His only desire was to see his cars race at Le Mans at night. Now, after fourth last year, it looks as though they may be on the podium. Ben Keating has previously won Le Mans in a Ford GT, only to lose it in the post-race scrutineering bay. TF Sport winners 2 years ago, leading in GTE Am with that different crew lineup. And as the clock ticks down to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, nobody dares breathe, least of all in the Toyota garage. But now they can believe. The number 8 car is heading to the line to record Toyota's 5th consecutive Le Mans win. Brendan Hartley will lead Toyota Gazoo Racing 1-2 with Glickenhaus in their second ever Le Mans on a shoestring budget compared to the might of Toyota, claiming third place, a podium finish. It has been a race of considerable drama for all the top teams, but only half a dozen of the 62 starters failed to make it to the flag. Toyota win again.
Yeah, completely.
This time, though, there are fans to see it after 2 empty years. Brendan Hartley, Sebastian Buemi and Ryo Hirakawa are the winners at Le Mans. The marshals are out in force to salute them, and so too the crowds, lining the fences, packing the grandstands. It is a sight that the drivers and the teams have been waiting to see. And as the Toyota comes down to the podium, victory is theirs once more. And they look strong in the race for the championship title. The floodgates are open, and the sea of fans will crowd below this famous podium.
It's big because we are pushing each other big time, and then in the end you don't want to be the one that makes a mistake, you know, so you push as hard as you can and you try to stay on the track. So yeah, I'm relieved that it happens.
Amazing speed and resilience from Jota, first and third with Roberto Gonzalez, Antonio Felix da Costa and Will Stevens claiming victory. Exhausted but jubilant.
Well, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of. This team has always been so special around here. Even if we struggle sometimes in other places, we seem to always come here with a serious shot at winning it. Come close a few times, and we said that this year was the win or nothing, and everyone in the team executed their job perfectly. Perfect.
Out onto the podium they come. Jota with 2 cars in the top 3, and newcomers Prema showing they are a world-class sports car racing team, as well as single-seater gurus. In GTE Pro, in the end, Porsche came through. They held off Ferrari's challenge, but just 1 car on the podium. Fred Makoviecki bringing it to the line. Victory at Le Mans. Jimmy Bruni and Mako taking his first ever win here.
It was quite, a little bit sad than it's GTE Pro will stop for next year. The end of the RSA in Le Mans. It's a long history. We wanted to do it well. With Richie and Jimmy, we made several podiums. We have been strong in a place to win, but sometimes it did not went in our way. And today, the beginning of the race was hard, but it came to us.
Richard Leitz, Jimmy Bruni and Fred Makovici, winners in GTE Pro. For the final time, this class will compete at Le Mans. Porsche on top, Ferrari second and third. And Porsche take a slender lead. In the GT Am class, Ben Keating, Enrique Chavez and Marco Sorensen claim victory for TF Sport and the Aston Martin. And Aston, with the Northwest AMR car in third place, have 2 cars on the podium.
We didn't have the pace that the Porsches had. We were about 2 seconds a lap slower than the Porsches, but amazingly, the Aston Martin did not have to change brakes, bought us a little extra time, and we had a perfect race. No mistakes, no spins, no trips through the gravel, no penalties, no nothing. Perfect race, and that's what it takes to win Le Mans.
Second place to the WeatherTech Porsche team from the USA, but Aston Martin claiming victory at Le Mans. To the winners, the spoils, Joe Wilfried Tsonga presenting the trophy to Kazuki Nakajima, who was part of that driving lineup last year. And then the monstrous 90-kilo trophy that will probably require the entire team to lift it. Toyota take their 5th straight win at Le Mans, their 2nd consecutive here in Hypercar, and the gauntlet is thrown down. Come and beat us if you can.